What is going on, y'all? So it's been a few days since I got out here, and I wanted to talk about something that kind of, you know, I've been worried about for a little while. And you know, I love a fast bow. I just built a set of arrows for these gold tip Velocity Pro arrows right here. They're a 6.5 GPI arrow. They're a gold tip 600 with, and I'm running a 125 point. They're 354 grains total, and that is a super light arrow for a traditional bow setup. Super fast. It's a good 3D arrow. It has a you know, really fast flight, it's a flat flying arrow and fun to shoot. But y'all listen to this. So I started shooting that arrow at my targets. You know, it's getting good penetration out. Well, I thought it was. And then, you know, I was talking to a guy. I was like, what do you shoot for hunting? You know, what is your weight for hunting arrow? You know, 500 plus grains for a hunting arrow is a, you know, good starting point. Especially for this lightweight of a bow. It's not sending the arrow super quick, but from this weight and on, you know, further up, you're thinking, well, the faster I can shoot a heavier arrow, you know, the better my chances are as far as getting better penetration, which in reality he's pretty much right, you know. So I went back to my roots and I had set up an arrow for this bow. It is a deep impact 500. It's working for me. I have a 100 grain focus system up front, plus 225 grain Centaur big game broadhead. This one's kind of dirty, but this is the arrow setup, the broadhead setup I'm going to be shooting out of both of my bows this season. I have a this Centaur Supercurve, and I have a 46 pound Centaur Supercurve that I just purchased, and that bow is going to be quite a bit faster than this one. And this bow already will bury these arrows pretty good into the target. So let's get out here and take some shots with both my target arrow and the hunting arrow, the heavier arrow. We're going to shoot some shots at a 20-yard distance. I'm going to set up a smaller target, and may have to move my knock point up and down to accommodate. But let's see what happens and see how my accuracy is with both of these arrow setups. Alright, y'all, so we're going to start off the video shooting a heavy arrow. This shot right here is about 20 yards. We'll be shooting at the block target just to get loosened up, and we'll get loosened up, get our shot down, and start putting arrows in the middle. Right now I'm shooting a 200 grain field point up front on this arrow. I don't have a 225, so that's what we're using for the heavier arrow setup. The wind is blowing like crazy. I'm going to try to take some shots, but if I can't, we'll go ahead and set up a target just to see, you know, kind of check out how this heavy arrow flies in the wind also versus a light arrow. So let's take a shot at the middle of that block target. Alright, so the wind caught that arrow bad. It was that arrow was right in the middle of the target, and the wind kicked it out and it went to the left. But it was a slow, I don't know if y'all saw it, it was a pretty slow arrow. So now I'm going to shoot this gold tip Velocity. This arrow is, it's 200 grains less than the arrow that I just shot. It's a 354 grain arrow versus a 575. And the wind just blew my camera over. That's how windy it is. It's not really a good day to shoot, but I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this video and, you know, shoot this arrow. So let's do it. This arrow is gonna be a lot quicker. So that arrow sliced through that wind like I thought it would do. It's right in the middle of the target. 20-yard shot, super fast arrow. And as far as a 3D arrow, that's what I'm gonna pick. Is that I'm gonna use those light arrows for my 3D arrows, and I'm gonna use these heavy arrows for hunting. Let's shoot another one of these deep impact 575 grain arrows and see if it'll even get down to the middle of the target in this wind. All right, so that actually flew pretty good. It didn't have too much play with the wind. Those arrows are showing a hair weak with that 200, so we may have to chop them down a little bit. But I'm gonna shoot them right now just to see how they do. All right, so let's shoot the deep impact again. Man, I'm telling you, with this heavy weight up front, at that short distance I'm gonna be hunting at, if I could get this arrow to work for me and fly somewhat straight, it's going to be a powerhouse as far as getting maximum penetration on an animal. Let's shoot at the deer target. Alright, double lung on the deer target. Good shot. So that arrow, it was moving a little bit in the wind, but not terrible. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Let's shoot another one, the same arrow, heavy deep impact, and put another one in the lung. Alright, that wind knocked my camera over, but like I was saying, let's put another one of those arrows. Another one of those arrows in the vitals of the deer target. That was a good flying arrow right there. That was that heavy arrow. Quieting the bow down a little bit, and it flew super smooth out to the target. I actually held a little higher because I thought it was going to drop off, but it didn't drop off near as bad as I thought it was going to. So here's the lightweight arrow. Let's take a shot with it. I'm gonna have to hold low with this thing because I know it's going high on this shot. Man, this wind's about to knock my camera over again. Hold on, y'all give me a second. Boom, right there. Man, right there in the heart. So, I'll be honest with you. That fast arrow is fun to shoot. It's flat flying, but it's not that much faster than the this heavy arrow. I mean, I'm telling you, this heavy arrow is probably shooting high 160s, low 170s on the chronograph. That light arrow is hitting 195 with this bow, averaging about 195, but it's not really a concern to me. My concern is getting this arrow through that animal. This arrow right here is gonna do it. It's got enough punch. I'm telling you, it's got enough punch with this serious, heavy broadhead setup. Y'all gotta see this shot. Right in the middle of the target. This is 20 yards with the 325 grain total point weight, 225 grain Centaur broadhead. Y'all check this out. 20-yard shot, Centaur broadhead, right in the middle of the target with my little Supercurve. Now this bow right here is fast enough at 40 pounds to get it done. That's super accurate. This arrow flight was awesome. Big broadhead. I mean, it's tearing my target up. That's a big ass broadhead right there, and it is gonna be a killer setup this season. And this is what I'm sticking with. I'm not changing my mind. I'm hunting with this arrow, and this is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to get some pass-through on whatever animal I get a chance to shoot at, whether it be a deer or a hog, or maybe a rabbit, who knows. Y'all, I changed this shot angle up a little bit. This camera's working out for me, but I'm thinking about getting me a little bit better camera here soon. This one shoots in 4K. The video quality's fine on it, but I think I could get a little bit better quality with another camera. But anyway, enough of that. Let's shoot some arrows. Let's shoot these heavy arrows at the. I can't shoot my deer target, so we'll shoot the block. Let me move this camera over a little bit. This will work. Let's shoot the block, and we're gonna shoot the white block. I'm gonna shoot the white block, and then we're gonna shoot the Ronhart block with the Broadhead. Pulled that shot. I don't know. So when I missed my shot high to the right, and I don't know if you can see on the video, I started letting down, and that every time you do that, you're gonna miss. You'll miss every time you let down like that. You're gonna miss to the right. Why? I'm a right-handed shooter, and when that bow arm lets down, what that's gonna do is it's gonna stiffen that arrow up, which a fletched stiff arrow is gonna fly to the right, where your weak arrows are gonna go to the left and then correct itself. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works out. But let's shoot another heavy arrow, 550 grain arrow, and try to hit this target in the middle. Alright, that arrow, I didn't hold high enough on that one. It dropped off, but it was right in the center. It's a good shot, but it wasn't perfect. Let's shoot this light arrow, do the same thing, and I'm going to show y'all it's going to hit right in the center. Right in the center. Actually, it was a little bit to the left, but we'll pretend it was right in the center. Let's shoot the Broadhead with the Ronhart. This one's going to hit in the center. Caught some wind. It was fishtailing like hell out of there. Alright, y'all. So those three shots right there are horrible. I'm going to shoot these again. Let's start out with the light arrow this time. So that light arrow shot a little bit low, caught some wind, but it was still in the middle. It really zips through the wind a little better than these heavy ones, but these heavy ones are hitting with a lot more force. Right there in the middle with that heavy arrow, and it rocked the target. I gotta get my shots together. I keep messing my shots up, pulling off my face or whatever. Let me put this, ooh. I gotta go retie that too. Let me put this arrow in the middle of the target. Broadhead arrow. Boom, good shot. Little fishtailing. Right there in the middle. I need to tune that 225 Broadhead to those arrows. I think we're gonna have to cut them down a little bit. They're still getting a lot of flex from being too weak. So we'll get that set up before, here soon, definitely before hunting season. Alright, y'all, there's my shots. I was shooting at the, over there by the fence. It's another angle. But shooting, that was my last shot with the Broadhead. It hit a little bit to the right, which I said that, you know, it's catching, it was fishtailing a little bit. My first deep impact arrow was in the middle right there, and then the second one was a little bit to the right. Same thing happened. I let down, and when I let down, it goes to the right. But I want to, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to shoot a shot with the heavier arrow at my block Ronhart target, and we're going to see the penetration difference from about 15 yards on the heavy versus the lightweight arrow. Alright, y'all, so these three shots with the different arrows were, I could definitely tell that the heavier arrows hit this target with a lot more force. Let's look at the penetration from the heavier arrow real quick. Got that much into the target. super heavy arrow, slow but hits like a tank. That much into the target, super light arrow, slow, hits like a tank. I think this will be a different story with the broadhead on the end of it. Another super heavy arrow. I don't know, watch the video, but I'm pretty sure these heavy arrows are moving this target a lot more, with a lot more force than the lighter weight arrow. Alright y'all, sorry about the noise. My pool was on and I'm gonna leave it running for right now. We're gonna take a long shot now with the lightweight arrow and then one of my heavyweight arrows, just to see, you know, how slow the heavier arrow gets to the target versus the light arrow. But I'm gonna remind y'all, this heavy arrow has way more force behind it, and penetration wasn't a ton different, but it when it hits vitals of an animal, it's gonna be different, I'm telling you. So let's see how this light arrow does. We got about a 27-yard shot from here. Alright, so it's in the lungs, made it to the deer target fine. There wasn't much drop with that arrow, even in this wind. It didn't affect it too much. So let's see what this heavy arrow does. So the heavy arrow, let me shoot that again. But I don't know if y'all saw the deer target out there. When that heavy arrow hit that deer target from this distance, it rocked it. Talking about the whole deer target shook. It's a lot of force from this 575 grain arrow. All right, that dropped off a little low, but plenty accurate. I'm not too worried about that. Now let's shoot the Centaur Broadhead. This is a way long shot to be shooting this, but I'm gonna shoot it at the bottom Reinhardt target to see if I can hit in the middle. Alright, it was in the middle, kind of fishtail, but it was low. I definitely gonna have to tune those arrows to that big broadhead. Alright, y'all, so I've been talking about, you know, the two arrows I have that I'm shooting with. One's a 575 grain arrow with the Centaur Broadhead, and with the 200 grain tip, I'm shooting off of it should be coming in around 550 grain. So let's check. We're going to start with the light arrow I have. So it's showing 23.1. So when if you have a grain scale, you'll be taking 23.1. So we have 23.1 times 15.432. That is showing 356 grains for this lightweight gold tip Velocity Pro arrow. So with that being said, 356. I don't know if you can see. 356 grains for that for that gold tip Velocity Pro with the 125 point. So the heavy arrow, I'm gonna weigh the 200 grain field point and see what it comes out to. Alright, so hold on a second. Make sure I have it in the right spot. 35.7 on this, so let's see what that is. 35.7 times 15.432, 550 grains on the dot with the 200 grain field point. 550 grains for that arrow. So this is a considerably heavier arrow compared to the gold tip. Let's weigh it with the Centaur Broadhead now. This is a 225 grain broadhead. Let's see. We're getting a 37.4. Let's see what that is. 37.4 times 15.432. So 577 grain arrow right there. with the Centaur big game broadhead. Heavy air for that little 40-pound bow that I'm shooting. Alright y'all, for the end of this video, I set up a bottle down on my coat, set up a Coke bottle down on the target. And we're just going to take a couple shots with the lightweight arrow and the heavy arrow, just to test accuracy and see which one's flying better. The wind died down a hair, but still got a good bit of wind for today. But let's shoot the lightweight arrow first. I have it tuned to this bow, so hopefully we'll hit it right off the bat. Alright, we got a little bit to the right. That arrow flies super straight out of this bow. Let's see what the heavier arrow will do now. Alright, the heavier, I'm accurate with the heavier arrow. It was moving around a little bit, but I did hit the Coke bottle from here. This is about a 17-yard shot, so that's plenty it's plenty good for hunting. I'm not going to be shooting at animals too much further than that.